I think when you've been married for what, 25 years, you end up being able to finish each other's
wine.
So, spell syncing. How does it work? What do you do? The first rule is that not one spell should be among all 4 party members. There should always be one party member that will not sync with the other 3. So, Maelstrom, Bolide, and Seism is what I'll be demonstrating. And those 3 spells, only 3 party members have at a time. So, when Bolide is being synced, one pawn will not have Bolide. Therefore, that pawn is the mitigator and will be crowd control while the other 3 are casting Bolide. And the same thing with Maelstrom. And the same thing with Seism. There should always be one pawn that does not have the spell. It is sometimes difficult to arrange. But when you have one as a mitigator, then the other 3 can typically cast safely. Also, level 1, level 2, level 3 of the spells is also important. One pawn should have level 1, another one maybe level 3, another one level 3 or level 2, but they should not all have the same level 3. This way, one pawn will release the spell early, while the others are continuing to charge, and then another pawn or yourself can latch on and pick up the progress from another. Once spell syncing, if a pawn is casting a spell and you jump on, then you've skipped 6, 7, 8 seconds of the spell. And same thing with other pawns. If you're casting a spell for 8 seconds and a pawn decides to jump in right then, they skip those 8 seconds and they are ready to release the spell. Hence, Maelstrom versus High versus Grand.
Be ready.
I'll be primarily showing Bolide in this example. First, I'm going to get the party started. I have 2 pawns following me with Maelstrom. One of the pawns has level 1, and the other pawn has level 2. Now I begin Bolide. And a pawn follows, and a pawn follows. And that pawn only had level 1, so she released. There are now 4 meteors. The other pawn is released. And now, Seism is being cast, so I can jump in on the progress, and I just skipped about 5 seconds. Maybe 6. And I pick up with a head start, ready to release. Or I can switch and change and command the pawns to cast a different spell. Level 1 Bolide is released. Level 2 Bolide is released. And I can release, or I can cancel and begin to cast another spell. And my pawn that has Maelstrom level 1 is ready to release with only charging for less than half a second.
My strength fails me.
I see my pawn casting Bolide, and I can jump in on the progress, which is about 4 or 5 seconds in. And since she released, it starts over.
I've combined my magic.
And now I've got a pawn following me.
It drains the life of anything in its grasp.
pawns can never take care of preemptive attack, so you can engage the battle with Maelstrom. This will bring the enemies in, alert the pawns, and then they will be ready for battle. And then they will be able to charge, and be willing to charge.
Its head is honorable.
I've got one pawn, I'm going to change another pawn. Now I've got one pawn with Seism, another pawn following my bolide.
Stop its incantation. Move before it spills.
Now I may not be able to finish Maelstrom, but one of my pawns will mirror my spell, and she will finish.
No, they won't be advantage.
And there it is. I have begun bolide, and another pawn has latched onto my progress.
I'll aim for the head. Strike the head. Your armor is sunken. Its head is vulnerable.
Clumsy. Restore a bit of health.
You shall not cast. It's a troubling foe. I'll mirror your spell.
I'll mirror your spell tells me that I don't have to release my spell, because she will already release Maelstrom.
We have tried. Enough it! We'll get nowhere while it's aloft.
Alright, so when I cast Seism, only 2 pawns will follow, while the other one
Combine my magic.
will be ready for something else. So now I begin Maelstrom. And she's got Maelstrom as well. And there she goes.
Spotlight's exposed.
And only 2 of my pawns have bolide, so 2 will latch on, and the other one will mitigate. I will change for Seism, since those 2 pawns already latched on. And I've got this pawn who released regular bolide level 1, ready, picking up on my charge, going to level 3 bolide to release. So it's just constant spell after spell after spell. And eventually, you don't even have to cast and release. You could just cast, get them to begin casting, release, or not release, but stop, switch to another spell, get them to latch on, switch to another spell, and stop. Alright, so now I will not release anything. I will cast and orchestrate and not release. So I've got 2 with Seism, and we cancel. And we move on to another spell. And we wait for them to latch on. And there's 2 Maelstroms, and we cancel. And off to bolide. We got 2 pawns. I'll switch to Seism. 2 pawns have released Bolide almost. I've got a pawn latched on with Seism. And that pawn will be ready. There she goes. 2 Seisms. And I will cancel. Just conducting the pawns to cast. Maelstrom will be cast pretty soon. There it goes. And we got Seism again. And I think you get the point. This is SpellSync.